So let's say you want to launch a business, and maybe let's just have a title for our business. For sake of simplicity, we can just go Bash's cleaning business. But regardless of the business type, the same formula applies everywhere. We've got the business name, so cleaning service, and if we think about what each business has, we can actually kind of try to conceptualize the sort of skill files we would make for our AI models. But essentially, with every business, as you start the business, everything's going fine. There's an admin, it's going fine. And as things pick up, you hit a limit in terms of how much you can output yourself. And then I think if you don't utilize AI, you don't get employees, you're just going to be stuck in a limit. So the point of this video is to understand how we can avoid that limit. So let's say cleaning services. We want to launch a cleaning service. What do we need for a basic business? We need a website. So we need a website. We need CRM. So CRM is what records the customer information, so you know who's buying what and how you can follow up with them. And if you go grab another card, we have our website, we have CRM. I'm just keeping it very high level. Maybe some sort of accounting, so you want to keep track of your profit and loss, so P&L, and website, CRM, P&L, and maybe we'll just have another bucket called admin. And this can go even further, but for the sake of oversimplified AI, we'll keep it as simple as possible. Every business has that. If you're a tradie, if you have an enterprise software company, these are the basics everyone would need. Now from there, what I would do is I would try to understand the purpose of each of these, right? So the CRM here is to grab customer information and understand customer patterns, behaviors, and be able to follow up with them. The website obviously is to get leads. Admin, I'm talking about payroll, employees. Let's say you need to give workers shifts or anything. That's the admin side of things. And then profit and loss, which is the most important part that most business owners actually don't keep track of. What we will do today to get through these things is start with the basic, so CRM and website, and then the profit and loss and admin next to it. This is a very quick process. It's not going to take us more than half an hour, I think, but the premise is quite powerful. And once you get to know this, you can actually quickly come up with business ideas and quickly start and execute them. And that's precisely what I'm doing at the moment. For the tool, we're going to be using Visual Studio Code. You can download Claude on it, and it just pops up here on the right. But to first start, you can click on this, and you can open a folder. Within my laptop, I have actually made a folder specifically for this video, and I can just click on open. Let me get rid of this thing. I can see my face on the screen, which is a bit on the way. I'll just leave it here. Okay. So now we've got a folder opened. You can call the folder whatever. You can call it your cleaning business. Even within this folder, you can create subfolders. But from here onwards, everything is done with Claude. So we just open Claude and start chatting. The first thing we do is we type in switch model to just check the model that we're using. I was using Fable beforehand, so it's going to be using Fable. This is quite expensive, so we're going to go back to Opus, which is the smarter model for planning and thinking. Then we're going to be using different models for different purposes. But here we'll just say, hey, I want to start a new business, and you can actually click this button to just talk to it, right? So it's a lot easier. Hey, I want to start a new business called Bash's Cleaning. This business is for a YouTube video and a demo only, so you don't need to look at any other skill files or any other of my plans. Just work within this folder and let's try to make that business. The first thing we want to do is to create a CRM, which is essentially just a table of our customer names and their information, and then some of the other foundational stuff, including a website, the admin side of things, and a profit and loss tracker. Let's get started one by one. I'll give you prompts and we'll go from there. But if you have any suggestions, let me know in advance and we can plan better together. Just click enter and it gets all that information very quickly. You don't even have to type anymore. It's just like you just click on the button and start talking to it. And it is this very smart assistant that gets things done. Obviously, it's going through the content within the folder. You don't need to understand any of this. You don't even need to watch it. So Claude comes back with questions to you of how do you want to do it, right? And this is getting too advanced. If I just say one JSON file, it's good enough, but it's nothing huge. That can be scaled later. So I'm just going to say something that I can open and see too. Maybe use Excel spreadsheets for the CRM and HTML-based other information so we can work together later, and I can create a software for it too down the line. So we'll just give it, our thinking, essentially just give us spreadsheets, something that we can actually jump into and have a look at ourselves. And let's just see what Claude comes back with. Okay, perfect. So it gets the plan. CRM is Excel spreadsheet, website, admin, P&L, pages built together. It's structured so it can grow as a real software later. Let me call from toolchain. Perfect. So it's already onto it, but we want to interrupt it here because it's doing too many things. One thing I forgot to mention is that currently our Claude is set to auto mode. When it's set to auto mode, it just auto approves things as it sees fit. And then if it thinks that something's a bit risky, it'll come back to you and ask questions about it. Well, because it's on auto mode, you gotta sometimes watch it because it will go to different pathways. You can also change the effort level for every answer. And I think now that I'm getting the answers with a bit of a delay, I'm gonna tone it down to a medium effort. Now, one thing we can do here is change this to a planning mode. And what happens here is that Claude will actually ask more follow-up questions to have a consolidated plan together. And from that plan, it will start to generate the assets. So let's quickly prompt it. Hey, let's plan together. I want to have more input on what's happening with the business. We need the website. It needs to be simple. Just send the message that we are, a cleaning company, but probably I want to design the website with Fable. So give me a prompt that I can put in there, but maybe first ask questions about the business, understand what our offering is, the pricing and everything else around that. And we'll go from there. It's essentially like talking to a human, right? So it's like if you tell a junior to go and complete a task without giving them too much instructions, they're going to get confused. Some of them won't even have the confidence, so they'll find it very difficult to go through it. Same story with Claude. It's just a junior. And as you train it, as you create school files, it becomes a senior. And as these models improve, it will probably become better than you down the line. So this thinking of, handing off the thinking to Claude, not fully, but where needed, I think helps create a lot of space in your head. So let's go. Regular home cleaning. No, we're just office cleaning, let's say. Pricing, free quote, get a quote. Yeah, we just have get a quote button. What vibe should the brand and the site have? Friendly and local. Here we'll just say friendly and local, but let Fable do the design. So Fable is Anthropic's new model, and because it designs better, it's a bit less obvious that your website was made by Claude. So I was just get the prompt from Sonnet or Opus because they have read the files, they've got the context, but then I just let it give the design decisions to Fable. And then the last one is service area. We'll just say just Sydney CBD. And you notice here I have a spelling mistake as well, and it doesn't matter, AI can understand. I often see people when they're demoing, they have to go back and fix up the spelling mistakes. It's a bad habit, but it's the reality of 2026. It doesn't matter because AI can already predict what is the next letter that you would have typed in. All right, so now it's getting the information. Again, more questions. So which trust signals, selling points should the site lead with? After hours cleaning, fully insured and police checked staff, no lock-in contracts, eco-friendly products. We'll just say we are tech people and know how to clean an office as we have an office, as the founder had an office before. And for the details, we'll just say placeholders for now, but if you actually have the business, you can then get those details as well and get it up and running. So with that, we'll just give it a couple of seconds and wait for it to finish. The founder story is gold. We're on our office. Perfect. So it's agreeing with us here. I might just pause it here and we'll come back when it's done because it takes a bit of time, about maybe a minute, 2 minutes to actually think through things, and then it's going to give me a plan. It seems like now it has asked me the questions that it wanted to ask. Perfect. It's writing an MD file. Plan written. Okay. I was going to skip it, but it seems like, okay, it has given us the prompt for Fable. And to be honest with you, I'm not going to even read this. We're just going to go copy. And what we can do here, I can close this prompt and click on Claude button here, up here. Again, up here, and do / switch model. And we can switch to Fable. And I can just press the prompt here. And we'll just let this guy be. In the meantime, see what the rest of the plan is. So we've got the prompt, and Fable's working on the prompt now. I'll just say, what is the plan here? Fable is already onto the prompt. And your role here, there's this fancy term that people are using about AI orchestration. This is precisely it. So you need to be able to tell AI what to do. Okay, so we've got the website, we have the CRM, we have the admin, and profit and loss tracker. Okay, so we'll click on this again. Okay, for the CRM, admin, profit and loss tracker, can you just create all of that into a simple web app with a simple database, maybe store it as a JSON file for now, and we'll come back to it. So at the same time, we can utilize it now, but then later we have an option to export to a spreadsheet so we can work with it. I just thought that might be easier at this point, given that I don't have Excel installed on this laptop. Okay, so I think it's again planning, but while it's doing that, we'll just go ahead and give it a follow-up message as well. Try to create sub-agents to do things in parallel so we can get it done very, very quickly. And we'll just click send. In the meantime, we can actually go back to Fable and check to see what's going on. Click on this. Perfect, so done. The website is set up. It's packaged. I created a business website folder with 2 files. I accidentally copied the whole prompt. So I can just say you are Fable, make the website. I'm just gonna go and now make the website. Come back to this again. Perfect, so on this as well, we are getting a software to manage the business. And on this side, we have Fable building the website. Now, there are other things, the name of the business, the branding, the colors, etc. My recommendation is in 2026 to start with the basics first, get business up and running. If you have clients, then actually invest in do the branding in detail, because there's a lot of companies coming on left, right, and center because the cost is so cheap to create new companies these days. So we've got Opus currently making our database and our kind of business management system, and on the right hand side, we've got Fable making our website. You can actually click on this and then move this here so you can see them side by side. You can even go up and down, have multiple windows. There's just a lot you can do here, but for purpose of simplicity, I'll move them together and close this. So we have one large space that we can see both tabs in. It seems like I accidentally interrupted it, so I'll just say continue, and we'll go from there. Now, let's go back to our diagram and see where are we at with this and what else is needed to do. So as you can see, it's quite quick that these things get done. So let's quickly go back to this. Okay, before I had the chance to go to the iPad, we actually see that it has created the website, office cleaning of people who run an office, get a free card. It is nice and clean. It's still AI, but it's quite easy to create websites these days. And we'll just say, okay, this is good enough for us. We've got a website for the business. Now, the next step here is going back to the database. Yep, so this needs to write code to a database. For this part, it actually asks questions. Maybe I can even change it to auto mode so it can just keep going without asking. And we'll come back here and say, okay, this is done. So let's go back to our diagram here, and we can see that our website is currently done. So number 1 is done. CRM, profit and loss, and admin are currently being built. But one of the things that you need to consider here is that you need to be able to kind of get these things to talk to each other. So afterwards, we'll just say get the website connected to the CRM, and the profit and loss comes from the CRM, right? So it's like how many clients we got, how much they paid, and the expenses tracked somewhere. The rest of the admin can stay there. Maybe the website can also talk to the admin. But for the purpose of this video, we'll just keep it here. So we have the website, the CRM, profit and loss, and admin. Now let's go back to Claude and see where things are at. Perfect. So it is creating our system for the management of the business. In the meantime, I'll just go and change the model in this chat to something cheaper, maybe Sonnet, and we'll just say, okay, I want to deploy this website for free. Do you recommend any tools? I don't have a domain yet. Just to show you how easy it is to start a business in 2026, it directly tells you what you can do. It says Vercel. I already have a Vercel account, so maybe another one. Vercel is actually a pretty good tool. If you don't have a Vercel account, it's free, nice and easy. Let's go with this one, Netlify. I've heard some people use it. Open Netlify. So we'll just ask it to open the website. Let's quickly, maybe I'll just say open it in Brave, and we get our web server hosted. I've not used this tool before, so it's going to be quite interesting to see how that would work. Okay, so we are into, let's do bash b, and I'll just say app junior web developer, it doesn't matter, AR code tool. Okay, perfect. Now we've got this. It has codecs in it already, which is insane. I didn't know that you could do this here, but let's make it a bit easier. So we'll just skip for now. I've never used this tool, but let's go back to Claude and say, I just created an account in Netlify, is there a way you can connect to it so you can deploy the website without me doing anything? And again, you got to kind of think that it's a smart system. It knows things. So it says that it can do it if I authorize it. So it's already installing Netlify CLI. CLI stands for command line tool. And it seems to be able to connect to that to actually run our website. In the meantime, we go back here and you see that, yep, so it has already done things in parallel and things are getting completed. So we'll just keep this going on the side and then come back here. And while this is getting done, let's talk through this idea, right? So when you start a business, what happens is, when you get your first, let me open a new page for this and chuck my iPad on. All right, so when you start a new business, you get your first 10 clients, right? These 10 clients go to you and they can talk to you. That is easy. You can manage 10 clients. Then the business grows. And a month later, you get 20 clients. And a month later, you get 30 clients. At this point, you probably can only handle 25 clients. And there's 5 clients that are in yellow mode. So there's, question mark around who is helping them, right? And at this point, you have 2 decisions. You either employ someone in, that's just a human here, you employ someone in, or you can have these systems set up from the beginning so that you yourself can have more than 25 clients. And the way this would work is that you would set the systems up so that maybe from the beginning you have your clients into 3 different buckets. You have the important clients, you have the medium clients, and you have the less kind of high value clients. And what you do here is your system will automatically be able to automate these things, and you put your focus up here to make sure these clients are nurtured and you can continue generating revenue for your business. Now, what we're doing with these systems is that we're building these tools already so that everything can come to you and you get a summary essentially of all that is happening here. And you also work on this yourself. A lot of people these days are claiming that they can automate everything. I don't think everything is automatable. You can automate this part, but you still need to understand what's going on with each client. You need to have that more hands-on approach with some of the other clients. So it's important to be conscious of all of that. And, there's a bunch of other things here that is, your admin, your payroll, etc., etc. These things as well can go into AI, and AI can then provide you a summary of everything, similar to the rest of the stuff. And that way, you can be a happy business owner. So I just recommend being conscious of AI in this way. You're not going to automate everything. You're not going to automate your admin fully. You're not going to automate your marketing fully. But you can use AI to get the gist of everything and also have AI on your customer side so you can focus on the right things and generate more revenue for your business. Let's go back to Claude to see where things are at there. Perfect. So we already got our system going on. Everything works end to end. So if I click on this link, let's just say open it in Brave again, we can see what was created. So we'll go here. You can see that there's a bug. The first thing, I'll just do a quick refresh to see if it works. No, we've got a bug. Classic. We'll just go and screenshot it and paste it back in and say there is a bug and it will go fix it and come back to us. Open in Brave. So now this is also done. It downloaded something to connect to Netlify, so we can actually log in via Claude, and Claude can actually bring our website up. So here we have granted authorization to Netlify, and you can now close this window. So Claude actually picked it up. It was done. Now it's deploying the site. On this side as well, we have Claude building and fixing the management model of the business. Perfect. So our website is currently live. And if you go here, we can actually see our website. How fast was that? And this, the only next step from here, and mind you, this is my first time using this platform too, so we have the same amount of knowledge here, is that you can actually go here to your project, click on it, and click on project configuration. I'm looking for domain somewhere. There should be domain management. Perfect. Add a domain. You can buy a new domain right here. So bash cleaning. Let's just search if it exists. Perfect. As easy as that. So you can just click buy here, and you can automatically, I don't have payment methods here, but you can automatically add the domain to the website, so your website address is actually correct. But now we've got this website up and running, and it was this easy to kind of get it up and running. This is not production yet because we need to connect the form to it. We need to do more things, but I think this gives you an idea of how quickly you can bring these up, organize them, and keep them organized. And my assumption is that in the near future, there's going to be these serial entrepreneurs that have multiple businesses in multiple niches and multiple industries being run by these AI agents. Now we'll go back to our system and let's see what has happened here. Okay, open it again. I'll just give it a second to open again. Okay, so you can see it kind of kept the same brand and kind of color as well. These are obviously mock data here, but we've got a dashboard. The dashboard has our leads and our recent activities. We've got a CRM, which includes who does what. So clients, their information, office size, status. I would actually add more information here, but this is just to start. Again, you know, it took us less than half an hour and I haven't sped up anything. Anything here, we've got the jobs going. I would connect these jobs to the client. So in the CRM, if I click on someone, I can see how many jobs they've done. But these are the jobs that have happened. We can mark it as paid. You can edit the job information and add the dollar amounts, and you can export it as a CSV already. And profit and loss, right? So this is the most simple way to get started with Claude Code and the things that you can get out of your business. In the next session, we're going to be talking about how to extract information from your business that is the most value you can get, and that information then actually that can be utilized to help you grow the business a lot faster. The idea is that your strategy needs to be AI aware, but not, you know, AI first, as a lot of people claim. So you still have your system of getting into the market, and you know, this is you, and you have this business idea, and you want to grow the business with this business idea to make some money. And you still need to know the idea and the execution, because that is what is making you. You also need to know the idea and the execution, let's say, to get to this point, right? But what AI can do is AI can be a layer in the bottom that can help with those things that we said: admin, marketing, just basic P&L. All of this information will help inform your decision making. So as a business owner, instead of you focusing on getting these things done, you actually focus full planning to get to point B, and that would take you there a lot faster. I hope this lesson was useful. Again, that's the next lesson. We're just going to build up on this and start working with our business and see how far we can get it. Obviously, I'm not going to pay for a domain, but there's also a lot of different things that we can do on that side of things. But for now, let's just keep it simple. We're going to go jump back to the website, make the website a bit better on the next session, and then those systems as well, making sure that they're online. Maybe we'll add an authorization layer on it so you can actually, you know, keep it blocked from the public or keep it local on your laptop. But I think down the line, it's important to have a backup, because if your business depends on these systems, then it's important to take care of them.